Hey Synth Drones, today we're going to be talking about mixing our synthesizers, high ampere ambient drone. This is my vlog where I talk about synthesizers. If you want to keep up with my synth adventures, hit that subscribe button right now. Okay, so we're talking about mixing synthesizers, making some music, making some tracks, making them all fit together. That's what I've been doing today. I'm actually coming out with a new album, okay? It's going to be called Galactic. Okay, so I'll actually be releasing 1 or 2 tracks here on my vlog for you guys to get a sample of what I'm doing and what I've done. And you guys can scoot on over to my website where you can find all the links to where you can grab my music at and stuff. But this isn't just a promo video. Of course, you know, I always want to be out there talking about what I'm doing and share with the world. There's no purpose in making music if you're not going to share it with anybody, right? I guess you could do it for yourself, and that's cool too. But you know, mixing music today, I decided, you know, I'm just going to sit back and ignore all the haters from the Moog 1 videos that I did. My gosh, man, I had to check myself this morning, see if I had any black eyes and bruises and concussions, because I got beat up pretty bad in the comment section. But that's a whole nother story. But if you guys haven't been following my Moog 1 videos, you might want to check that out, because there was a lot of hate spewed over the comment section. And that brings me to synthesizer mixing. You know, my wife was reading some of those comments, and she's like, my gosh, these people don't even know you, right? And you know, it bothered her more than it bothered me. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go into the studio, and I'm gonna keep on working, keep on doing what I do. And today, you know, I'm mixing music. So I've released some tracks already. So most of the songs that I'm compiling into an album are already available online as singles. And so I'm going through each one of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile them into an album format. And then I'm going to remove the singles from the stores. You'll still be able to get the singles. It's just that it's going to be formatted into an album as well, so that you or anyone who wants my music can download it as an entire album. With that being said, I'm going back through some of the earlier tracks that I did for this album, and I'm noticing some mixing mistakes, some mastering mistakes, and yeah, just going through it. And that's what I want to talk about today. Don't be afraid to go back through your tracks one last time before you release them into an album. If that's what you're up to, if that's what you're doing, if you're releasing your music, don't be afraid to go back through your music and spend some time with it and make some changes. You have to make sure, though, that when you do all of this, that you're saving everything that you worked on, so that when you need to recall it, you can find it. And that's what I do. I use Reaper, and I want to make this a point. I paid for Reaper. I know that some people use it and use it and use it because it never expires. But after I had my initial test run with it, I decided that this thing is worth the money that they're asking for it. So I went ahead and bought it. I just want to make that clear, that you guys, if you are using Reaper, you should support these guys. They're doing an awesome work with their DAW. I think it's one of the best DAWs out there. That's my opinion, okay? And I've tried a lot of them, and they're all great, okay? And yeah. But for mixing and mastering, well, for mixing, I use Reaper. Now for mastering, okay, we're talking about synthesizers and mixing them and blending them together. I actually use a service called eMastered. That's eMastered. And no, they're not paying me to say any of this stuff. I'm not getting endorsed by any of these guys. Although, if they're listening, if you guys want to throw me a bone, hey, I won't turn that down either. Shameless plug. But so what I'm doing here is I've got these different tracks that I'm working on, and I'm actually working on a song here that you guys probably have already heard. It's called Mega Drone. And basically what Mega Drone is several tracks, okay? And here in Reaper, I don't know how well you can see this. This is probably really going to come out terrible. But I'm using the P6 right here. Let me see if I got anything above this. I think this is where the tracks start. So I got my P6 up here. And I didn't really have to put it in a subfolder, but I did. I don't know why. You know, you ever go back and you look at one of your mixing files and you're like, what did I do that for? I don't know. I may have had a reason at the time. Then I got my drums. Now these guys are all grouped, okay? So got my drum wave, got my ride and my crash, and then I have my SY22. I don't have that anymore, that synthesizer. I got rid of that one. I sold it. it wasn't MIDI compatible, so my workflow was being interrupted. I had it going through a key step, and that was going out through CV. And it worked, you know, but it was disrupting my workflow because I kept reaching for the SH101's keyboard. But I'm actually waiting for the Behringer, okay, the Behringer version that's coming out. I don't think it's going to sound identical to the classic, but it doesn't have to for me. Little Phatty, this thing is absolutely phenomenal. Man, I don't have it in the studio right now, but I still own it, so I'm going to be breaking that out once I redo my studio. I talked about that in a couple of videos back, I think, about having to redo my videos, or my studio. This is the Q, the micro Q, actually. So what I'm getting at is I'm mixing these down, and got my virus on here, and then just kind of audio bite right here. And you know, the trick is that you don't want to cloud your stereo image. You want to add things, take things out, and so that they're not fighting with each other. And you can't always do that through EQing. But as I was going through these tracks that are pretty much already finished, okay, I'm noticing some things here and there that, you know, I think could be better. So, and then one of the things that I do is when I render, I come down here and I render down to a 32-bit file that's a sample rate of 4800. And the reason why I do 32-bit is because I want the highest quality mix down so I can send that up to emastered.com. Again, guys, I'm not getting paid by these guys to endorse them or say anything. I really think they're pretty awesome. I've been looking for a while. I had used some other online mastering, and I've even tried doing mastering for myself. And I got to tell you guys, unless you have fantastic ears and a great room setup and know what you're doing, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to master your own music. And I think that's why some of the pros, including Moby, I know for a fact, outsources his mastering. Now, if you guys can do this at your house or your home studio or wherever your studio is, hey man, more power to you. Then over here on my screen over here, I have my Studio Live Series 3 by Presonus. And man, I got to tell you guys, if you don't own one of these things and you can afford to get one of these things, you may not need the 32 version, okay? That's just how many inputs it has. Grab one because they're great for mixing synthesizers and doing some EQing, compression, gate, all of that stuff. Man, you know, the crazy thing is I've had this Presonus for quite a while, and I've been so busy with my project, so busy, because, you know, I do this for money, guys, okay? And so I can't always take time to explore my gear. Anyway, I'm just discovering the gate feature on this thing. I wish I would have known this when I was laying down some of these tracks, but I know about it now. And man, just absolutely kills a lot of the hum and the hiss that I was getting on some of my older synthesizers and even some of my newer ones. For instance, over here I've got the sequential Prophet X, and it was driving me nuts because there is a low-level hiss because of the analog filters that are being used for it. So when I would amplify the signal to get it up to mastering level, which is around between -5 and -6 dB, you could start hearing hissing coming through on the Prophet X tracks. And it was so disheartening, so annoying to me, that I was thinking, man, I can't use this Prophet X. It's that loud. It's too much for me, okay? And then I started looking at my Studio Live 32 and realized, duh, there's a gate on that, and this thing works flawlessly, okay? I just set it at the level I want it to be, which actually is really a low level, a very low level. So right here, if you can see, I got these little numbers, 5, 6. So if I go over here and I click on well, 5, right? Then you'll see the gate up here, right? And look how low I've got it set. I've got it down like all the way down. The attack, all of that's minimal, okay? But the thing about it is that when you're recording and you get that noise in your signal 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and no matter, you know, depending on how many times you use the PX on your, you know, in your track, in your music, it can amplify that hiss. So this eliminates it. So I'm not trashing the PX. Please don't think that. I'm just saying that there is a low-level hiss there that is troublesome for me without the gate, but it's easily solvable. So just some of the things that I've been doing is mixing some synthesizers, learning some of my equipment, and you know, that's the whole thing, guys. I want to stress this. We're always learning. Ain't nobody knows everything about anything, okay? Anybody can learn something in synthesizers and mixing and music production. Everybody is a student in my book, okay? And I'm learning, guys, and these are my adventures. So if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button so you can keep up with my adventures. And I like to stress this for people that don't know this. This really isn't a teaching channel. This isn't a techie channel. This is my vlog where I talk about my synth adventures. I'm just sharing my life of synths with you guys. If you're interested, great. Subscribe, leave some comments, talk with the other people that are on here. Talk with them, not at them, right? If you're not interested in my life of synthesizers, tune out. That's your right. That's cool. Not everybody's going to agree with everything I'm doing on here, and I don't do everything perfect. I don't do everything right. But I'm trying to be open about that, guys. I'm trying to be open, right? So much love to everybody out there. Thanks for tuning in again. And I will see you guys next time. Until then, keep calm and synth on.